Did James Bond carry a Makarov? Well, today we're going to take a look at the PPK, the PP, and the Makarov. We'll take a look inside of each of these guns, see how they relate, see how they're different, and come to a conclusion whether or not James Bond actually carried a derivative of the Makarov. So first things first, we'll take a look at the Makarov here. So what we have is a direct blowback design handgun, meaning that the barrel is affixed to the frame of the pistol, as opposed to a Browning style design where the barrel is not directly fixed to the pistol and pivots upon recoiling. It is hammer fired, and we have a safety here. This is the fire position, and the safety acts as a decocker as well. So for the magazine release, it's a heel style, and the magazine is cut open so you can see the rounds directly. So now we'll get into the disassembly of this pistol. So to disassemble, you'll want to put the trigger guard to the side like that. Make sure your hammer is cocked. And then you pull back the slide, lift up, and off it comes. So this is the recoil spring here, which is attached directly to the barrel. And as you can see, the barrel is indeed pinned to the receiver. We'll take a look at the fire control group right here. And the grips as well. So as you can see, these grips actually wrap around the back. There's a provision for a lanyard here. And this is how the grips are fastened to the frame of the pistol. So now that we've taken a look at the Makarov itself, we'll move on to the PP and see what differences and similarities there are in the designs. So here we have the Walther PP clone. You'll notice that this is also a direct blowback design, hammer fired, and as well, the safety acts as a decocker. The difference being that the safe position is the bottom, whereas on the Makarov it was the top. The mag release is a button now, and the magazine, as I said, has witness holes to show you how much ammo is in the magazine. The disassembly process is the same as the Makarov. You lift the trigger guard, and then you have to get the slide off of the gun, which is a bit of a tedious process if you've never done this before, but there we go. So the slide, as you'll see, has some striking similarities to the Makarov, especially with this cut up here. And as I said before, inside it is a little bit different. The firing pin channel is a lot more open there. This is your safety lever here inside, as you can see. And the sights as well are about the same as the Makarov in terms of their appearance. The frame is also very similar to that of the Makarov. The recoil spring, at least on this model, is very stiff, so I will save you the time of seeing me have to pull this off. The fire control group here appears to be a lot simpler than on the Makarov as well. And perhaps the biggest key difference between the PP/PPK and the Makarov is that the slide hold is internal, which is right here. There's no way to lock the slide back unless you insert an empty magazine and pull the slide back. That's the only way you can lock the slide on the PP and the PPK. So now that we've discussed the similarities between the PP and the Makarov, we'll go ahead and take a look at the PPK and see what other similarities and differences there are. And finally, to conclude, here we have a PPK. So the PPK is actually a short version of the PP, the K standing for Kurtz, which means short in German. What we have here is a blowback design pistol, hammer fired, and the safety acts as a decocker. The magazine release is also a push button, as it is on the PP. And you have witness holes that are numbered as well. The disassembly process is the same with this as it is the PP and the Makarov. So just push the trigger guard down, lift up the slide, and off it comes. So we'll take a look at the slide now. You'll notice that the design of the firing pin channel is identical to that of the PP, as well as the striker there. Safety is in the same position. Safe position is up, same as the PP, and the sights are slightly different, which could be because this is the PPKS model, but they're a little bit better than what you get on the standard PP. Here we have the frame, and the recoil spring is much shorter but nonetheless identical to the PP and the Makarov. One key difference being that it is stiffer due to its shorter design of the pistol overall. You'll notice the fire control group is nearly identical to that PP clone, slightly different from the Makarov, and also the slide hold is internal on this as well. And a common thread between all three, and quite frankly a lot of blowback design pistols, is the barrel is pinned directly to the frame. So now that we've looked at all three of these guns, we'll come to a conclusion whether or not James Bond actually carried a Makarov. So now that we've had a look at these three pistols, I think it's safe to say that the similarities outweigh the differences, and it is safe to say that James Bond did carry a Makarov derivative. One could argue that the PP and the PPK are modernizations of sorts of the Makarov design, and it is fascinating to see how the Makarov has evolved over the years through its derivatives and made appearances in popular culture through movies like the Bond series. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you like my videos, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.